Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, the situation in Iraq. The president says it is improving steadily. A new CIA report from Baghdad is far from that sunny. It's candid. It has some tough truths as the CIA sees them. We'll give the details to you. Also, how bad is cybercrime getting to be, and why? We'll give you the inside story on that. And CBS News investigates new safety questions about the so-called birth control patch. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Good evening. As another American soldier was killed in Iraq today, President Bush tried to rally support for his policies and rally American troops, visiting a U.S. base that has one of the largest casualty rates of the war. While the president was looking to muster support and boost morale, word came of a bleak new assessment of what's happening in Iraq. A previously secret CIA report says the situation is bad, could get worse, and not likely to get better anytime soon. CBS News Chief White House correspondent John Roberts begins our coverage.
It was a presidential pep talk at Camp Pendleton today. The commander-in-chief dropped in to thank Marines, he said, have helped pave the way for elections in Iraq.
A free Iraq will be a major victory in the war on terror. Free nations do not export terror.
But hanging over the president's sunny assessment, the hard fact that some 200 Marines from Camp Pendleton have died in Iraq, and a recent CIA memo that the situation there is deteriorating and may not improve for some time.
I think that memo has it about right. I mean, you can quibble with variations, but the bottom line is it's complicated and it's dangerous and it's going to be a long-term effort.
The memo from the outgoing CIA station chief in Baghdad often contrasts sharply with the White House view of Iraq. For example, it says Iraqi forces are not effective enough at dealing with an increasingly violent insurgency, and that the interim government has fallen short of projecting authority. Those frank assessments were challenged by the U.S. ambassador in Iraq, who believes efforts to battle the insurgency have been more successful than the CIA suggests.
I think we feel that the conditions will be sufficient and security conditions will be adequate for these elections to go forward.
The memo does cite progress in Iraq, saying Iraqi security forces are increasing in size and skill, and that the political process is unfolding despite increasing violence. For his part, President Bush gives the interim government high marks, and while acknowledging some problems, has similar praise for Iraqi troops.
These brave Iraqis are fighting for their freedom, and we are proud to stand by their side.
U.S. officials were quick to point out that the classified memo was not meant to challenge the president's view of Iraq. They say it was merely a truthful assessment that unless significant gains are made toward improving security, economic opportunity, and strengthening government, the bad news in Iraq will quickly get worse. Dan?
More and more people are doing their stock trading, banking, and other financial transactions online. In truth, the Federal Reserve says that in 2003, for the first time, more payments were made electronically than by check. And with all that money floating through, gives you the inside story.
In a secure room, deep inside an unmarked building,
you're entering the Secret Service cyber lab.
The U.S. Secret Service tracks an emerging enemy.
What we have here is an individual who's trying to sell holograms on the website.
This guy's offering to sell bogus hologram credit cards.
Correct.
This website, shut down by the Secret Service, is one of hundreds operated by gangs and terrorists, trafficking in stolen identifications, credit cards, and bank accounts.
20, 30 years ago, gangs, organized crime, Cosa Nostra would meet in social clubs. The same thing is happening on the internet. However, it's more global.
Security experts believe criminals have infiltrated at least one of every 3 personal computers. And last year alone, cybercrime cost people and businesses more than $200 billion worldwide.
This industry has essentially become more lucrative than the sale of cocaine.
He's a computer security expert at the World Bank. Because his life has been threatened by cyber gangs, we can't reveal his name.
Whether it's terrorists or organized criminal syndicates, it's much easier to hack databases full of personal identifying information than it is to transport drugs.
Here's a small sample of the stolen goods. Names, addresses, account numbers, passwords, all captured off an internet trading site by U.S. agents. That's your name?
Yes.
Heather Mering, who lives in Columbia, Maryland, had her financial data posted for sale by someone in Amman, Jordan.
Is that your social?
Yes.
She is just one of 10 million Americans hit by cybercrime in the past year. Banks are absorbing most of the losses and trying to keep them quiet.
Most of the financial institutions are publicly traded, and thus their stock value will plummet if bad news hits the markets.
But more than corporate reputations are at stake. When terrorist Imam Samudra was arrested for the Bali nightclub bombings, this is what police discovered in his computer.
Internet pages were found relating to sharing of stolen credit cards.
Which raises a question. Has your credit card helped pay for a terror attack? Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
An estimated 800,000 women now use the birth control patch as an alternative to the pill. The contraceptives delivered through the skin are supposed to have the same benefits and risks as those taken by mouth. But are they really equally safe? CBS's Cynthia Bowers investigated for tonight's Eye on America.
Yeah.
Ike Okechukwo's life is a blur.
I'm a daddy, I'm a mommy, I'm everything.
He's everything now because 8 months ago his wife Philomena suffered a near-fatal stroke.
A woman who is vibrant, a woman who is full of life, just a question of a second, her life was just taken out of.
A blood clot in her brain left the 38-year-old beautician paralyzed and unable to speak. Her doctor told Ike he could find nothing to explain the stroke, but suspected the condition may have been caused by the birth control patch she'd begun using just 12 days before.
You can put it here.
Since the patch hit the market 2 years ago amid a sexy and expensive advertising blitz, 4 million American women have tried it. It delivers through the skin the same synthetic hormones found in birth control pills. Both methods share similar risks.
Serious risks include blood clot, stroke, and heart attack.
An attorney representing the Okechukwus and others showed CBS News FDA records that indicate as many as 11 young women may have died from blood clots caused by the patch.
Every drug has its risks and every drug has its complications, but there's a balancing test. And in this case, there's a lot of other safer contraceptives.
According to his lawsuit, during a 12-month period ending 2003, there were 46 reports of serious clot-related injuries or deaths attributable to the patch. That's compared to 23 incidents for the leading oral contraceptive, even though that pill is taken by nearly 6 times as many women. In a letter to CBS News, the drug's maker, Ortho McNeil, says the patch is safe and effective. The types of adverse events reported are consistent with the pill and risks increase for smokers and women over 35. The FDA agrees the patch is safe when used properly, but adds monitoring will continue. Doctors say awareness is key.
Women should be previous.
Philomena tragedy. For now, her family is left clinging to faith.
And I know the good Lord will heal my wife.
And to one another. In Austin, Texas, I'm Cynthia Bowers for Eye on America.
More, but be sure to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Wednesday's broadcast, after 5 years of testing, we'll give you the results of a promising new breast cancer treatment. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.